So I'm Mike O'Neill, and I'm here to present Navigating LinkedIn for New Business, featuring LinkedIn campaigns. I've got a long background in LinkedIn dating back to 2004 when I began coaching. I amassed a lot of connections along the ways. Forbes likes me for being a power influencer, done a lot of training and stuff, but these are things that got me to where I am today. The path to getting here went through sales, went through technology, and now I've been a social media expert for quite a while. I'm going to help you gain a current understanding of what's going on with LinkedIn right now. We'll talk about LinkedIn.com. We'll talk about Sales Navigator. We'll talk about mobile, at least a little bit. We'll find new prospects using LinkedIn, using the platforms above, and we're going to reach out to them on LinkedIn. Finally, we close with this systematic process for using campaign sort of techniques for ongoing lead generation that you can turn up and turn down. There'll be an overview of LinkedIn in general, and then we get into LinkedIn.com, including searching. We're going to dive in a little bit because everyone has LinkedIn.com. Now, not everyone has LinkedIn Sales Navigator, but those who do are going to learn new things, and those that don't are going to learn what it can do. Maybe they'd want to get involved. And finally, we'll discover LinkedIn campaigns, and they really do feed in generally on the Sales Navigator platform. Let's talk about gaining a current understanding of LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a backbone. It has all these offshoots to it. It used to just be LinkedIn.com. And then Sales Navigator came along, Recruiter came along, mobile came along, mobile apps for all of the above came along, and finally, most recently, ProFinder that helps put together contractors with people who need the products that they sell. I am a ProFinder provider. Since Microsoft came along, things have changed a lot. In fact, the Office platform resembles the LinkedIn platform when you peel it back and look back at what's for who. Word is used by certain people. Excel is used by people that are more data-oriented. Maybe it's more like Sales Navigator. We keep, spreadsheets of sales contacts, right? So you get it. So in going along the lines of the platforms, certain platforms are particularly good for sales. And the platform for sales is Sales Navigator. And the migration from the other platforms to Sales Navigator happened really big time here in 2017. And will be expanding extremely a lot in 2018 as they add more and more features as Microsoft starts packing it with CRM sort of tools. Let's talk about finding new prospects on LinkedIn.com in the most basic way. It's a process of taking a lot of people on LinkedIn and filtering them down to fewer people. And in the process of filtering them down, they get better. The folks that we want the most shine the most, and they're not hidden behind the trees of the ones that we don't. So if you're doing searches, if you have more than 1,000 in a search, you can't see the results anyway. So you want to stay under there, and a couple hundred, pretty good number for searches out there. The more picky you are, there you are on the left. Well, the process is pretty simple to go through. You define your targets using this principle called personas. We're going to go through that in just a moment. We're going to look for them on LinkedIn. We'll look for them on Navigator, add some more features out there, and we'll find the best folks to go after. We'll kind of weed out the folks that we don't need. Well, one of the big questions is, where do you sell to? Is it individuals? Is it a person who buys it for them, perhaps? Not for their company. That would be businesses. You're still dealing with individuals at businesses, but they're buying it for the business, obviously. They're not buying an 850 mega gigawatt electrical such and such a thing for themselves. But they might be buying solar panels for home for themselves, or they might be buying training components or search engine components and all for their small business. That would be more like individuals. So in larger organizations, you've got different areas that you sell to. If you sell into IT, that's more of a rank and file. You might have senior folks in IT for sure. The top level in the organization out there, they make the bigger decisions. Everything rolls up to them. But, gosh, you don't start there sometimes, or do you? There's a lot of different techniques. It promotes and supports all the different techniques here. We very often are talking about a part of the country, a part of the world. We're not marketing to everybody every which way. There's 500 million targets if you do it that way. But if you're targeting locally and all, there's some special things you need to take into account when you look at the different platforms. Sales Navigator has a really strong background here in locational targeting. Same thing with the size of a business. Small, entrepreneurial-driven organizations at home and all. They have different needs, and certainly they have a different price point and different products that they do, and a whole market for there. I know that market really well. Same thing with medium businesses. Large companies, on the other hand, you've got lots of different people you need to engage at the company that are involved in the selling process. Different tools, Sales Navigator being the tool of choice. So I talked about how we're going to find our persona. These are the ingredients or the characteristics of the people that we want to have, that we're selling now to, that create our glowing sun up there that we want to go after. We're going that way. And we have to take those ideas and translate them into LinkedIn Sales Navigator searches. We got to place our bets on the table in order to lay this out. So we might do it quick and easy using LinkedIn.com. And we might do it in a more advanced way, more systematic, using Sales Navigator. I'm going to go down all of these paths with you here. It's a big topic of this component here. This presentation is targeting. It goes as the precursor into campaigns. So doing quick searches on LinkedIn is really easy. It's like Facebook or Google. You put some words in at the top, and they do a pretty good job of parsing out what you must be looking for. This sounds like a company or a skill or a person or a group or something, and then they kind of sort things out for you from there. This is really quick and simple. Give it a try, okay? It doesn't always do what you need, though. So, for example, if you need a little bit more juice, you need to be a little bit more granular. There's just one better place to click, specifically right on this little icon. And this little icon takes you to the advanced search screen that gives you lots of options. See what I mean? Lots of options. So over on the right are filters that we can apply and add. There's even one at the top still. You can't forget that one. That's actually keywords up at the top. I know on the right it says keywords within the red square here, but it's not. Those keywords over in the red square is where job titles go and other things. We'll look at that in a moment. The keywords, if you wanted to put in words like music or Minnesota Gophers football or something, would go on up at the top. So this is what filters look like on the right when they get put in. When you put in your categories out here and your different sorts of filters out here. Locations, in this case, industries, and there's CEO or president. We're going with level 2 sort of people. This is the advanced search screen of LinkedIn.com. What's left of it? There used to be a lot more to it. And we'll describe those new things over in Sales Navigator, because the features that used to be here are over there. So the features that were deleted from here included zip codes. So if you like the zip code searching, you're going to have to go over to Sales Navigator. If you like to search by state, you can't search by state over here anymore. The job titles, where it says title here, will find titles of folks that used to be presidents or CEOs, and it groups them together with those that are. You can't just say current. So there's a few examples of things that you can do over there that you can't do here. Finally, one that you don't see at all here has to do with company size. If you like companies of a certain, be less than 50 employees or more than 1,000, that's only over in Sales Navigator. So this is what your search results look like. You can see the criteria on the right. You got a nice listing on the left. So you can go back and forth, change a few things, try it again, change a few things, try it again. But if you're going to connect to these folks, don't connect here. It says connect. You want to go. Go, go, go. Connect. Click here, click here. And it sends off a generic invite. And for, maybe that's okay. It certainly is better than not doing anything at all. But if you have the time, if you have the way to do it, look at their profile and try to write a custom note to them. Say more about them, learn more about them. You might skip some people in the process that you'd send to. And you do a lot better with the folks that remain. So let's go through the process of searching on Sales Navigator, doing the same basic thing with the same sort of targeting. We have a lot more fields to choose from, and these are the important ones here. I showed you headcount here. Seniority level is only over here. See? Years of experience only over here. You can use Boolean, the ands and the ors and the nots and all those brackets and all to build things out even more. You see up under keywords at the very top it says enter keywords, and that's pay, music and saxophone. So this is how the targets look on Navigator when they're on a list. Okay, on the list you can see save as a lead. There's an action you can take. Puts them into a very special category. They're filtered out that way. You can add a tag. There's another thing to do to them, perhaps, to add more granularity. You can filter on these here and come back and do more things with them. So I mentioned the extra filters and all. Those are really, really important ones. The being able to filter people out by tags and leads and all, that's an important one as well. In the case of campaigns, just the higher sending rates are really important. Where you can might be under 100 here, you're over 100 there, sort of thing. It's, twice as much sending that you can do with Sales Navigator. At some point, you're going to pay for LinkedIn anyway. If you get active out there doing the kinds of things we talked about here, you're going to have to upgrade. And it's only $20 more for Sales Navigator there. You get many of the features of LinkedIn Premium when you buy Sales Navigator. I mean, there are a lot of things that kind of come with it, in addition to the whole new look and feel of Sales Navigator that comes on top. So let's talk about how you actually implement a LinkedIn campaign. The tools that I taught you here, let's put them in to action. Well, first of all, LinkedIn campaign is a systematic process, okay? We're going to find people, we're going to engage them, connect, send messages. This little process here is something we're going to do, and it's, like we say, very systematic. So systematic, actually, that we can increase and decrease the speed, put the pedal up or down. We can coast, or we can say, you know what, we need to really pump some stuff out right now. Let's kick it up a little bit. Okay, so by focusing just on the best people, it saves you time. You don't have to weed through people that might be lower quality. You can put the quality bar just about wherever you want. Now, I'll say if you are targeting more than just your local area, like the whole United States, let's say, you can be more picky. If you're picking if it's a certain area of the Twin Cities, for example, like where I live, it's another story. Okay, you got to look at folks a little bit more. You can't throw the baby out with the bathwater as much if you have a finite audience as if you have the whole country. And going over the whole country, I especially like to go after states. It's really nice, state by state by state. California's kind of hard, Texas is kind of hard, and New York is kind of hard. But for the most part, everything else is pretty good in doing campaigns. In doing the campaigns, we're gathering data that pulls nicely into a CRM system or an email system or something else. These are some of the greatest benefits of doing this process here applied to LinkedIn. So we're going to find folks, we're going to reach out to them, we're going to invite them, and the folks that connect, we'll send a nice message to them, of course, here, dear Fred, dear John, and all. The folks that connect up to us, we're going to evaluate them to a higher standard and see if we might want to have a chat with them, send a message afterwards. Now, you can do ad hoc campaigns, which are for something that might be temporary, like a holiday party or an event or something, a special offer. Otherwise, you might have ongoing campaigns that are always happening. It's just a matter of who we're going to send to and how and when. So I'm going to talk about how to prepare for campaigns. There's a few things you have to do first. You can't just jump on the freeway and go so fast. You need to improve your profile for campaigns. It's a quick glance sort of view for things, the eye candy. Creating content drives traffic to your profile, writing articles and all. And folks that get there should be told to do something. What do you want them to do? I'd like you to, engage me if you fit this audience. I'd like to work with you if you want to buy my stuff. Okay. When I talk about the pictures and graphics and eye candy and all, I mean there's a fight out there for eyeballs. Adding some snappy graphics really helps. In posts, the picture in a post out there very often represents the post. When someone sees a preview of it, they're going to see, do you want to see a Lamborghini, or do you want to see a generic picture that LinkedIn puts up? City skyscapes and stuff like that are pretty easy to do. Super duper easy to do. Take it from there and then refine upon that. But make sure you got a nice image out there that goes with what you stand for. I'm the LinkedIn rock star, so there I am. Appearing in front of 45,000 people at Target Field. You bet. Let's talk about searching for campaign targets. That's a really critical point. We got ready. Our profile's looking good. We got all duded up. Let's talk about searching. Our persona principle is really one of placing our bets. We got a little bit of this, a little bit of that. This could be roulette. In this case here, it's craps and all. But you've got to map one thing into the other. It's like translating from one language to another. We have to translate into LinkedIn speak. And let me show you what that looks like. It looks like this. A little bit of computer software, a little bit of Minneapolis. How about some second level connections? Maybe they should be C-levels. I'd like them with 10 or more years of experience. You know what? I kind of care what size company they are, too. You could do a lot more with this if you like. You refine and refine and refine, add more. Notice there aren't any keywords here. That's a well-known place to refine and get it on down. But a search with 360 results, that's a nice size search. We'll call that a success. Well, we found them. How do we connect with them? What do we do to take that big step in the process? Well, we start with the best search, and we just did that, right? Did you see how we laid things out? We'll do a small test. So of those 360 people in that little area, we might uncheck a box or two or something to try maybe 50 or under 100 at least out there. And then we go to the bigger list out there that might be 1,000 plus, under 1,000 still, but a bigger list. You need to be under 1,000 because that's all people can see. Split the bigger stuff up, smaller pieces. So you saw we had two different company sizes. We could do 50 to 200 and then 200 to 500. Split it up into two. We're going to send connection requests, the invitations out to people and all. We're going to customize them. Hey, dear John, dear Fred and all. But probably not much more than that. They're kind of short. They're kind of short. And more, if the right message is sent to the right person in this invitation category, they'll respond right to the invite. You don't have to do a lot of things afterwards. We're seeing an uptick in people responding to invites. But you got to look good, remember? Got to look good. You got to say the right things. Of the first two things there, looking good matters more than sending the right thing in a message. Many folks will not see your message, but they like the way you look. So next, we've got new connections. How do we send messages to them? What's the process for doing that? These are campaign steps here. So let's take a look. The process for doing that is to look at your new connections and decide, are they worthy or not? It's a screening process. The best folks get to go on and get engaged with us with more calling, more activity, more help from us. We're going to help them, right? And the message we're going to send to them is something we've already got over here in our left hand. We'll just copy it in, change a few things, add a name, and just send it off. All right. The tracking of this is best done using some sort of tool. Tags on LinkedIn are a tool to use it. You might use your CRM, a cheat sheet spreadsheet or something, but you kind of want to keep track of this stuff here. That's one of the most difficult things about the stuff here is keeping track of stuff. And thank God at least Sales Navigator has some tools there for it. Without it, it would be even harder. There aren't tags, for example. You can't save people as leads. So they connected and they didn't respond. Boo-hoo. They didn't respond. They didn't do what we wanted them to do. So, well, in this case here, we'll continue maybe messaging them. We'll send another one, maybe a reminder or maybe a little drip message sort of sequence of all. We've got their email address now. We get that when we connect with them. Maybe we'll move over to email at some point. Send a few, have it intermixed. Email and LinkedIn or so. Pick up the phone if they're really good and you've got some sort of angle in there. You're pretty comfortable on the phone, or you can certainly reference that you're LinkedIn and emails and thought thought you'd call them. I know they want to talk to me, right? Or think about it. We'll just move on, find somebody else. We create lots and lots and lots of new people, so we don't have to beat down people that are too hard to reach. We'll work with ones that are paying more attention to the things we have going on. Well, there's ways to monitor what prospects are doing. This is a way to sort of see what they're seeing. So we're reaching out to them, but we can see what they have going on. And there's a couple different ways to do it. The best way is through the streams that are going on there, and both LinkedIn and Sales Navigator both have streams. You might post an article or like or share something out there, and when they do, you can see what's going on with them. You can see if they added some commentary and comment on it. There really is quite a bit of action that happens, especially if you comment here. Okay, it really does. I'm very high on the getting noticed part. I always notice when someone comments on my stuff, and I always thank them for it, and vice versa there. So there's just a lot more to do with Sales Navigator, since you can have more functionality like leads and tags and all to let you kind of filter in and out, and you can decide who you want to see. So let's look at this a little bit more closely between the two. You see on LinkedIn, we have the feed is in the middle here. The right column doesn't show here. I have it cut off because it wasn't important to us. So our home feed, this shows stuff from all of our connections. So if you're like me and a lot of people, there's a lot of folks you're connected to that are saying things that, that aren't as important to you, and there's ones that really are. Okay? This is a little cluttered for that sort of I like some and I don't like others. On the other hand, Sales Navigator has more features for us. You can see on Sales Navigator, we can just hone in on the people we want to see. They're saved as leads. So then there's a special category where we can see what goes on with them as a lead, as a person, or as an account, as a company, or it's all turned on by default, and you'll see stuff kind of scroll up and down here for you to like and comment on. Great way to get in with folks. Well, there's some management issues always. I mean, targets, connections, invitations, activity. It's really hard to manage sort of this stuff. So let's just take a little bit of a look at it here. This could be a topic all to itself. Sales Navigator has features that'll really help in the short term until that perfect application comes along. We can save tags, which will put people on lists. We can filter lists on those tags and just find the people we want, and then kind of just go on down the list and hit them one at a time. You can save folks as leads. That's sort of like a super tag, a master tag. There's special functionality for leads out there. So this is only in SNAV, Sales Navigator, and it's really, really important stuff. You've got to pay attention to this in particular. You might want to have campaigns done for you. We have our own system of doing campaigns sort of as a service for you. You can hire us to do things for you. It's done by experts. Let me just show you just a little bit. So it starts with coaching. We train you on the stuff I showed you here. These are sessions we have together to make sure you know just what's going on, just the right amount. You don't want to know so much. We don't have to learn so much, but there's certain stuff you all have to know in order to do campaigns, whether you're doing them for yourself, targeting and all, profile stuff, settings, or you're doing it, through a service. Okay. So we engage top prospects on your behalf. We log into your account and do the sending. We manage that. We drive the car. We're the limo driver. So we create a really great database that you can use for all kinds of things, and we can move around. If we're running your campaigns for you, we can move around. There might be seasonal factors or locational factors. You have an event, we can change things to fit your changing needs. So the benefits now, remember, systematic, right? Go faster, go slower, just the right amount of leads at the right amount of right pace, Get stuff into our database, into our bigger system out there as well. It's a fixed cost with it as well, with the integrated alliances campaigns. Clients really dig it. They can dial it up and down with a phone call, quite frankly. Give me more. No, I'm too busy. Goes either way. The program has a small startup cost. It's $500 to $1,000 to get started. It's $500 to $750 to get going. So these are variables because we want to know a little bit about you, but you can go a little slower as an executive, or you can go a little faster as a revenue producer is kind of the idea. There's more screening for executives, for example. Our coaching programs have a small little entry point as well, $500 for a few calls, 3 calls. We do 90 minutes to start, then we do 60 minutes. We hammer in on just the things you want to do. We can get you started on the campaignish sort of process. It's a little easier doing it in more calls. like in 5 calls, to add some more topics and all. If you want to spread it out over a period of a couple months or so, the DIY coaching program is great because we get to do a lot of things that involve smaller sample sizes, minute campaigns that have starts and finishes to them. Maybe we can come speak at your event or train at your event, in a setting sort of like this, a large event that's hands-on, or maybe speaking from the stage, inspiring folks on how to use LinkedIn and where the future of the environment's going. So the ways to get help. We can help you with your profile, do some coaching on you personally, for your team, for your business, but dealing with you. The campaigns either done for you or teach you how to do it yourself. Maybe get your team going at an event somehow. Here's how to reach me, how to reach us. Schedulewithmike.com is the place to get a free 30-minute call, and we'll go over your situation. So when you schedule a call with me, we might even, do some face-to-face. Could do a little screen share. Who knows what? I like Zoom. What about you? You want to Zoom together? Zoomwithmike.com. No, there we go. Well, thanks for listening here to the Navigating LinkedIn with Sales Navigator featuring LinkedIn campaigns. I'm Mike O'Neill, your presenter.